Hello, everyone. And in this video, we want to do something really special. We will share with you some spooky dating stories. Like always, my name is Svetlana Mucha. I'm the founder and the leading matchmaker at Diolli.com. And together with me, I have Katerina Romanenko, the executive director at Diolli.com. So, Katerina, spooky dating stories. I can start with a story. So one guy, he was so adamant to date much younger, like way younger, like 10 years younger. It was not enough for him. He wanted to date someone 15 years younger. So we have introduced him to a very attractive 15 years younger woman who has showed interest in him. And he said that, no, 15 years, it's not enough. I want to date someone who is at least 17 years younger than me. And it was crazy. We have tried to talk him out of it, but he was like so adamant, so pushy, like, I really need to date someone 17 years younger, or I will die, literally, from the absence of much younger love in my life. So we have introduced him to someone 17 years younger. And he said that, you know what? She's a beautiful woman. She's 17 years younger, but that's not enough. I want to date someone 20 years younger. And you know what? We said no, because we are not magicians. We are just the matchmakers. We can't create people out of thin air. And you know what happened? This guy stayed single.
Hello, everyone. Happy Halloween. And I think you know why we decided to bring up this topic, because today is Halloween and we want you like to be a little scared and maybe funny. Look at Svetlana's short, you will understand that it's Halloween.
I'm wearing pumpkins.
Yes, very nice. So unfortunately, we have such stories on dates, and yes, usually when a guy is behaving like Svetlana has just described, then usually the end of the story is really scary and he's staying alone. So yes, it happens from time to time. Also, I remember, I just caught myself on a thought that most of such spooky stories will be connected really with a guy who wants someone better, younger, more beautiful.
I can share a story about a woman.
Oh yes, let's listen to your story.
One lady, she claimed that she is so sophisticated, so accomplished, so beautiful. And she had her own business. She was very pretty, 42 years old, grown-up kid, open to date men in their 40s, early 50s, top, very attractive woman. She speaks several foreign languages. She lives in Europe, and she claims she wants to date someone who's on the same level. So as well-traveled, as well-educated, as accomplished, someone who has similar hobbies and interests. So we have introduced her to our client, and he was smitten, like beautiful blonde, 12 years younger, very attractive. A kid is out of the house, just like in his case. Really well-dressed and groomed and polished. And they have talked on Zoom. They liked each other. And he told her, like, you know what? Let's go out on a date. I will fly to meet you. And this woman, she was so happy at first, like this guy who's accomplished, well-educated, well-traveled. He has interesting hobbies, very similar situation to hers. And perhaps it hit her on her head, probably. Oh, this happiness of finally meeting the guy you wanted to meet. So this woman told him, no, I won't meet you unless you buy me a bottle of perfume. And you know what? The perfume and the date, they never came. And this woman, she remained single, and she was kicked out of our database. End of story.
Okay, then I also have a story about a woman. about her behavior. Also, one of our couples, they had a date. They liked each other very much before they have met, so they were looking forward to this date. Everything went well. They went to the beautiful restaurant. He came with a bouquet of flowers, really beautiful bouquet. So she was happy to see. The conversation went so well that he was texting us in the beginning of the day that, wow, she's so beautiful, and she did the same. And you know what happened then? In 1 hour, she's calling us. It was in Kharkov. She's calling us to give her a driver, our driver, because she wants to go home. So everything went so smoothly, and we didn't understand why it's happening in such a way. And then we were looking forward to hear feedback, and the guy, he was shocked. It was really a scary situation for him. He didn't understand what to think because everything went so smoothly. And her feedback was, the date went so well that I wanted to finish it on a very good point, to look forward to the next meeting and to plan the next meeting really soon because I really liked him. So this is also the end of the story.
She has overreacted. Okay, Katerina, I have several spooky stories for you, and you can read a few of our clients there. So once upon a time, there were a few guys who wanted to date someone gorgeous, someone really, really beautiful, like unearthly beautiful. So we have suggested a guy to date this lady, and he was like, she's beautiful, but she is not like gorgeous enough. I don't feel sparkles in my head, in my stomach, elsewhere. So no, I don't want to date her. We have suggested another client a date with another lady who's also very attractive. She has long legs, curly blonde hair, beautiful, mesmerizing blue eyes. She is very slim and at the same time curvy at all the right places. And he's like, she's beautiful, but I would prefer someone with straight hair, so I don't want to date her. Then another guy whom we have suggested, another gorgeous lady, and he was like, I'm 43, she's 31. I would prefer to date someone who is 29. Like, she's not young enough for me and probably not hot enough for me because, well, she doesn't look like Megan Fox from that movie 15 years ago when I saw it. I remember that I was smitten with Megan Fox, how she looked at that big screen. And you know what happened? Like all these three guys, they have rejected more dates, and more dates. And at the end, they remained single. And 5 years later, when they all rolled closer to their 50s and somebody has crossed that line, they claimed they wanted to date the woman we have suggested them 5 years ago. And when we told them that these women are no longer in our database because someone has married our clients, someone were dating our clients, someone have met their husbands and their boyfriends on their own. So no, we don't have those ladies. And we can't introduce them to someone in their early 30s or late 20s anymore because, well, you are 50 or you are 49 or you are 52. So a 30 years old woman won't be interested in you. And these men were so shocked, and they have chosen to stay on Tinder forever, swiping right and left and looking for a perfect 25 years old whose kiss would rescue them from this endless circle of swiping right and left.
It's an interesting story too. And I also have a story.
Have you recognized a few clients
yes,
over the years?
Mm-hmm. I also have a story in my mind. It is a spooky story about compliments. We always tell our gentlemen that Slavic ladies they like compliments. So you have to compliment them and to give them different compliments. And so the guy, he was so nervous on a date. He wanted to make a good compliment, but instead of asking us beforehand how to do it, if he doesn't know how to do it, he decided to do it himself. This lady, she had a very beautiful long hair, and she really was attractive. And so he started his compliment that you have a very beautiful hair and very beautiful breasts. Are they real? So, so he wanted to show that they are so beautiful that they look artificial, but you know how this compliment looked. So
That was terrible.
yes, the second date have never happened after that. So this story is also a little scary.
Oh, I can tell you another scary dating story. We have introduced a gentleman to a lady, and neither the gentleman nor the lady were English native speakers, but they both were quite fluent in English. Unfortunately, the gentleman's pronunciation was not always distinctive, and sometimes it was hard to understand him. His accent was quite hard, quite tough to understand. So they had a nice date, and after they have left the restaurant, the lady has started praising the date, that the gentleman has chosen a really good restaurant, and wine was great, and food was great, and she had such a fantastic time, and she just wanted to thank him because he was so thoughtful, and she has really enjoyed it. And the gentleman, he wanted to thank her for all the compliments. So he tried to say, thanks for it. But instead, the lady has heard sex for it. And of course, after praising everything he did, she stands next to the restaurant with flowers and she hears sex for it. And that was the first date. You can understand how fast her mood has dropped. Luckily, to that couple, Diolli.com magicians have managed to dig right to the bottom of the situation and to figure out what has happened and to persuade the lady that of course, he liked the way she looked, but he never intended to demand sex for their date, for the wine and food and for the flowers. He wanted to thank her for all the compliments and for saying it out loud that she really appreciated what he did for their date.
Mm-hmm. Also, I remember one story about a guy who wanted to be a very interesting and easygoing person on a date. So he decided to ask unusual questions, or questions, of course, that he accepted those questions like very unusual. So he has had several dates, and on every date, between the conversation, so in the middle of it, when they were discussing some another topic, he stopped and asked her, cats or dogs? Cats or dogs? Choose and explain me why. Cats or dogs? So it's also a story about a guy who wanted to be very interesting.
Katerina, I know a story that will kill all the previous stories that we have shared. Once upon a time, our male client, who was 42 years old at the moment, has decided to go out on a date with a really pretty younger Ukrainian lady. She was about 10 years younger. And we have discussed with the client what type of flowers he should bring, what type of restaurant he should choose. And there is also a Ukrainian man, by the way. And the lady has texted me prior to the date. She sent me pictures of the dress she has chosen, like makeup she made, curls that she did, like earrings that she paired with her outfit. And then 2 hours later, the lady calls me crying, and I am asking her what happened. And she tells me that he has showed up on a date with his father. A 42-year-old man has decided that he needed a chaperone. So he needed a male chaperone who would probably look after his cherry. So probably he was afraid that this woman would try to kiss him, seduce him, look at him. or maybe think something inappropriate about him. Later on, when we have started talking to our client, and later I had a conversation with his dad, in their opinions, they did nothing wrong. The father wanted to be sure that his 42 years old boy would make a right choice.
Mm-hmm. I would be very interested to know if he still goes dates with his father, or what is
I have
happening.
no doubts. I have no doubts. Either they both went through therapy, because like his parents, literally, they have to understand that their son is in their 40s, or now in his middle 40s, then it was in his early 40s. So unless they want to do everything to prevent having grandkids, they should just stop.
Mm-hmm. Yes, and I memorize also one story about that happened on a date. Our client, he was from the US. He was a very interesting guy. I think we have several even spooky stories connected with him. Maybe he will recognize himself if he watches this video. I don't know. But the first story was that this guy, he had a very specific style in clothing. So he's living in Texas, and I think that maybe somehow connected with the district where he's living. But usually he was worn everything very oversized. So when we compare him to the lady who dressed a beautiful
no, he didn't have a nice Texas hat, or for example a nice pair of jeans with a belt. He was just wearing everything like 2-3 sizes bigger than he was.
And we do it. We discuss very often. We discuss outfits with our clients, and we decided to help him and to take him to the shop. Our manager went with him. They have chosen very nice shirt. So when he put it on, he looked absolutely different. So it really was a huge benefit for him to put on different clothes, because
Because he was not looking for a woman who also wore jeans and oversized t-shirts. He was looking for a lady who actually wears dresses, high heels, who's very groomed, stylish, elegant.
Yes, that's true. So of course he was choosing not ladies who wearing similar clothes like he does. So yes, the ladies, they wore beautiful dresses, and really they looked amazing on the dates. So we thought that it is our small victory that we helped him to put on a beautiful shirt. So our manager, she came to take him on a date. She came to the hotel with a driver, and she saw him, and she was shocked because he was wearing the same clothes as before, this huge oversized t-shirt. So she didn't understand why the history repeating. She asked him that where is the beautiful shirt that we have bought, and he's saying, "Don't worry, it is with me." She didn't see any big package with him or something, but okay. They went to the restaurant, and the next very scary situation was happening when he took his shirt from the pocket. So it was like ball. It was in his pocket. He opened it and said that now I will put it on. So this is the spooky story that never do it, never repeat it when you meet with a beautiful lady. And by the way, the second story connected to this guy, because he was very interesting and he can be an inspiration for several stories. When after the date, they communicated with the lady. They were in the restaurant, and they have decided to make like a short walk, and they were not far from our main square in Kharkov. We have a very beautiful square, and of course we invite everyone to come after we win this war to see this beautiful square. So they were taking a small walk, and he decided that it is the right time to impress her. So what was before? They were just sitting, talking, eating. He brought flowers, but what else? He wanted to really to impress her. And then he asked her, have you ever seen a really wide step when people are moving, when they are walking? She said she didn't understand what does he mean. She said, what? I don't understand what you mean. And he said that now I will show you. And with these long wide steps, in several minutes he was in the end of the square. She didn't see him, so but he thought that he really wants to impress her.
They were not teenagers, so just to make sure.
Yes, of course.
Once upon a time, our male client, and unfortunately, sometimes we do feel embarrassed for people whom we represent for their actions. So the man went out on a date with a lady, and she was a single mother. He knew that, and he brought a gift for her child. It was the first date, and he thought that it would be a nice touch to bring a gift. It was nothing special, some toy. She had a younger kid, and they had 2 dates. And after 2 dates, unfortunately, the lady said that she didn't feel that it would have go further, like she didn't feel any long-term chemistry. So there were sayings that, in her opinion, were too much for her. The gentleman was really too intense sometimes, so he could have been pushy, and he demanded that a woman returns the child toy that he has presented her kid with. And of course, we all were shocked, and the lady said that, well, unfortunately, the kid really liked the toy and was playing with it, and it was a younger kid, a preschooler. And she said, can I probably refund him, like how much he paid for it? I would give him the money back, because I can't just get it from my son. He's playing with it all the time. But our client was adamant to get that toy back. And we didn't know what to do. We tried to reason with him. We understood that it was not about the toy. His ego was bruised, that after 2 days, she said no, but it is life. And you know what? To win a beautiful lady over, well, you have to do your best. And sometimes your best is not enough, because she's looking for something else. Or sometimes you really don't try hard enough, or you don't invest enough effort. And at the end of the day, we have returned the toy. And we had to apologize to a woman. I felt so bad because he was my client. I was representing. And that man was the reason we never ever do discounts anymore, because we have provided him with a discount when we have taken him over.
Mm-hmm. I think my next story also will be connected with children. So we had a date, our couple, they had a date in the restaurant, and I'm sure that if our clients, they watch this video, and they can prove it, that we always help people to organize our couples to organize a date. So we try to choose for them really nice places, the restaurants with very good reputations, with good feedbacks, even with a good location. We always try to book the table beforehand in the coziest place in the restaurant, the place where it is not noisy, far from any birthday celebrations. So every time when we offer our client to go to the restaurant, we always call them and ask if there is not a wedding on the territory, or in this hall, if there is no a big celebration, some holiday or birthday party. So we do it. We always do it. But of course, we can't predict if any company will come. For example, several families will decide to have dinner at the restaurant, and without booking a table, they can come and sit. And of course, it can happen that they can sit not far from our couple. It happens. So it happened that day too. So our couple, they were having dinner. They had an interpreter, because the lady, she was not sure about her English. She was not so confident that she will speak alone. So interpreter was helping them to have a really good quality conversation. And in several tables near them, there was several families who were celebrating some, I don't know, some holiday. Maybe they just had family dinner, and there were two kids in that group of people that were running, playing, making some noise. So of course, as you understand,
it was not something over the top. These were just children.
Yes, they were just children. They were running, of course, like children. They were playing. Sometimes they were screaming. But or after the date, when we took a feedback from a gentleman, he was absolutely shocked that ladies, they ruined their date. They were running around them. They were
Kids have ruined their date, not ladies.
Oh, I'm sorry, kids. I'm sorry. Kids, they ruined their days. They were running around them. They were making noise. They couldn't hear each other. When you ask him, but how was the date? How was your communication with the lady? Because it's just one date. The next one you can meet in another restaurant. Atmosphere will be different. So what can you say about the lady that was sitting in front of you? But he couldn't say anything. All his mind, he was concentrated on those children that were running, making noise. They were interrupting them, in his opinion. When we asked a lady if the really situation was so awful, really children didn't give you an opportunity to speak, she said, yes, they were running, but
they were cute. They were just kids.
Yes,
I remember that story.
They didn't ruin my mood. I was absolutely fine with them. I ignore those noises, and I was talking with a gentleman. I didn't notice even those children. But he concentrated. He put all his concentration.
You know what? He was an adult, and he was in his 50s, and he wanted to date a much younger lady, like 10, 13 years younger. And some of the ladies he dated, they wanted to have more kids. And like his attitude also as an adult man, if you don't like your table, like, you know what, you tell the waiter that you would like to change it. Or if you are so adamant not to do a scene yourself, you call us and we call the restaurant and we ask them if it is possible to change the table. This is what adult people do. I remember that the lady has given a feedback that he was not really present at the second part of the date. I think his mind was elsewhere. So he hated those kids, and he hated that there were people around him. So,
Yeah,
and he ended up single.
That's true.
And he ended up giving us a bad review because pillows were bad in the hotel, chairs were uncomfortable in the hotel, kids were running around on the date. And the biggest crime that we have committed personally, there was no rabbit at the restaurant. He wanted to eat rabbit, but they ran out of it.
Yeah, so it is just the type of the person who is always looking for something negative in everything that is happening to him. So don't do it, and then you will not have such spooky stories on your dates.
Yes, we hope that we have inspired you to create the right mood, the right mindset when you start dating someone new. Because you know what? Things happen. There can be kids at the table next to you. A waitress can make a mistake. Your date can be too nervous and she can drop a glass and break it. Or like make a mess on the table, like drop this glass on the table or drop the water bottle. Things happen, it is life. And it all comes back to your attitude. How do you react to this situation? Do you laugh about it? Do you try to find something positive about your date? Or are you looking for the negativity? Or like with the heroes of the first stories that I have shared with you, do you think that the grass is always greener on the other side, that you can date someone not 10, but 15 years younger, no, 20 years younger, someone with blue eyes, green eyes, or violet eyes, blonde hair that is not blonde enough or too blonde? So sometimes it is important just to stop and to look at your attitude and your demands. Try to be logical and critical. Try to look at the whole situation with the eyes of other people who surround you. Why are you acting this way? Are you acting out because you're not sure that the lady will choose you back, because somebody has hurt you in the past, because you were single for way too long? And very often it is important to get professional help, like talk to a psychologist, probably do group therapy, individual therapy, whatever works for you, because we work in such a busy, crazy world that sometimes it is complicated to cope with your stress. And if you bring all this stressful energy on your dates, and it doesn't matter if the date was arranged by the matchmaker, or you have been introduced to her through friends, or you have just met her on Tinder. If you bring all that stressful energy, all those demands and unrealistic expectations with you to the date, well, it will be another spooky, scary, or really bitter story.
Yes, I agree with you that everything starts with an attitude. If you decide for yourself that you don't want to create such spooky stories on your dates, believe us, you will not do it. So try to concentrate on everything positive and, of course, being realistic at the same time. And give yourself an opportunity, and the person in front of you give that opportunity to start everything from the fresh page. So don't bring anything, don't continue to write this page when it's where it stopped on your previous date with someone else. No, start, try to find something positive and to give that fresh breath to your communication with people, and of course to your dating process too.
And leave a good aftertaste. Even if the lady after 2 days said no to a third date with you, like, how much did the toy cost? $20, $30. Can you live without them? But leave a good, positive first impression, because dating karma is a sin, and you're earning these pluses into your dating karma. And once you will meet a lady who will have all the important quality that you're looking for, and she will see all the important qualities that she's looking for in you, and your dating karma with all those pluses will help you win her over and not screw it up with some strange behaviors, attitudes, words, actions. So try to leave a positive aftertaste. And it doesn't matter if we are talking about talking to someone on Tinder or online, talking to a manager at the matchmaking service, talking to a matchmaker, talking to your date. So the energy that you bring to people, it will all come back to you.
Yes, I agree with you.
We want to wish you a fantastic Halloween. If you have managed to watch this video till the very end, don't forget to press like, to subscribe to our channel. And I want to remind everyone that if you like this format, please consider becoming a sponsor. And not only you will get a plus into your dating karma by sponsoring a special matchmaking blog, but also you will get access to more videos. And with Katerina, we share interesting discussions, some insights, especially for Diolli.com friends, Diolli.com lovers, Diolli.com family. So if you want more video content or special video content, please consider doing that. We want to wish you lots of love. We will see you in the next one.